Welcome to Monster Monday. So, we're going to be talking about Phantasm 4 Oblivion. So, I just think it is so cool that the 4 is in the title, like it is in the subtitle. I've always loved that. I've loved that anytime they've ever done that. If you can tell, I put my lights back up, my actual my good lights that now you can actually see me. I'm not looking like I'm fucking reporting from some cave in the middle of nowhere. All right, so anyway, rewatches are so important, guys. Seriously, like not all films deserve rewatches. There are films that are just pure trash. But this was one I was really looking forward to watching again because I have only seen it once, and my first viewing of this was so bad. Like, I thought it was so boring, so pointless, so confusing. It posed more questions than it answered, whatever. So I haven't seen it in years and years and years. And I've always had that opinion of it. Now having gone back and watched it tonight, I honestly think this is my favorite sequel of this series. Like, I am shocked to say that, but I'm happy to say that it was as well. There's plenty of good in 3 and 2, and I can hear arguments to which one's the best of the 3 sequels. Of course, with 5, I don't know how many people are going to argue 5 is the best, but I'm looking forward to rewatching that too. I will be absolutely shocked if I end up liking that one more than this one. That's for damn sure. But that all being said, I'm so pleasantly surprised and happy at how much I did really enjoy this movie. I didn't love this movie. I don't love any of the Phantasm sequels. In fact, I don't even absolutely love the first one. I really like the first one. The first one has a lot of issues for me, but the atmosphere is cool. The characters are great. There's some awesome dialogue, some cool effects, cool villain, all that stuff. So it is a very cool flick. But I do have my issues with it, much like I have with any film in this franchise. But I really did enjoy this one this time around. All right, so Mike is going out and he's searching for answers. Thank you, Mike. Please give me more. The tall man could have killed Reggie in this, but just doesn't, and I don't really see any reason why. Like, I feel like they just wrote themselves into a corner and didn't know what to do, and then they tried to make it seem like there was some big plan. We'll see. I mean, I guess in part 5 that will explain why, and I think it does, so we'll hold off on that. But for now, it made no sense. A lot of unused footage from part 1 in this, which I absolutely love to see, actually all of it. I shouldn't say especially, all of it, but I did, and I should save this for the end, but fuck it, I'm already here. Love the final scene. The final scene of this movie is fucking fantastic. Just Reggie and Mike in that ice cream truck, the stuff they say to each other as they kind of drive off into the darkness, and then the music kicks, and when the writer-director came up and the movie ended, I was like, what the fuck? What? The movie's over. What? Because I think originally this was being talked about as the end of the franchise, for a long time. I mean, it took 16, 18 years or something to make the next sequel, which is crazy to me that Angus was still around to make that damn movie. He looks so old in this, to think that he, almost 20 years later, he would still be around and making another Phantasm movie is wild to me, but that's awesome that he did. But yeah, love all the unused footage in this. So cool. I guess the kid from the third movie, the little Home Alone kid, is dead, and they never mention him. There's no mention, no nothing on this kid. I guess he was pulled through that mirror, and he's the first one to be pulled through that mirror and actually die. So he's gone, or I guess maybe he went into his alternate reality, as I had kind of theorized that there's all these alternate realities, and maybe he has his own. I don't know, but I guess he's dead. So he's gone. Reggie doesn't even care. Love the vision of how things should have been, where you have Reg, you have Mike, and you have Jody, and they're all kind of just sitting on the car. Jody's playing guitar, they're hanging out. Love that. Love to see how things should have been for them. I always like that in movies, when they kind of show us the alternate reality of how things should have played out but didn't. That's one of my favorite scenes in La La Land. Now, the cop pulling over Reggie and then disappearing, and then Reggie having to get out of the car and he can't find the cop, I love that kind of shit. That's all up in my wheelhouse of stuff I absolutely love. Love when people just disappear, vanish out of nowhere. I think it's the coolest shit ever. So when he looked back, that actually was like a really cool opening sequence to a movie for me. I was sitting there, I was like stealing from this and writing it in my head, like, oh, that's really cool. Like, guy gets pulled over, the cop goes back to check his shit, and then he's like waiting there forever, and he's like, what the hell? And like, he gets out and he goes back, and the cop's just gone. That's spooky shit, man. That's super spooky shit. And like, it's like a big deserted road, so there's like nowhere for him to go. And then he opens up the trunk, and the guy's in there without a face, and then he fights with this, this weird cop thing. Which I guess Reggie didn't see that this guy looked like this at this point. I don't know. But then he gets on the roof and Reggie cocks the shotgun that's in the thing, but it can't dislodge. But the guy's on the roof, so he just shoots right through the roof and he blows him away. And then he like vomits into his mouth and all. Awesome sequence. This whole sequence is one of my favorite in the whole series. So all really great stuff right there. And then we get some flashbacks to the Civil War, where the tall man's doing his work, but then Jebediah Morningside is that place that he lives. What age? Like, what year is that? Did we see a year? I don't think we did. Is that pre-Civil War? Is that the Civil War we see? I'm pretty sure it is. So, I mean, the Civil War was over in 65, right? 1865, around there. So, when was the Jebediah Morningside stuff? I don't know. Anyway. And these films always feel like post-apocalyptic world to me. There's never anybody. They never see anybody in town. Like in any of them, even in the first movie, we have nobody anywhere ever. Nobody in the streets, nobody in the city, nobody anywhere. It's really weird. But I guess the tall man's, he's going to town after town after town, and he's killing off everybody. But he'll go past and he'll like see a cop on the side of the road. Where's that cop's precinct? Like, that cop has to be protecting some kind of a town, right? So where are the people? Where, like, everything's abandoned, everything's gone. But of course that would pull down the atmosphere of the film, but also, would up the budget. So I mean, it makes sense why they take it out, but it's just still kind of confusing to me. Where the hell did Mike get a rope out in the middle of the desert, Death Valley? There's just a rope by the tree. I guess he had it in the hearse. Maybe I missed that he grabbed it somewhere. I don't know. But it was making me laugh. I was like, where the hell did he get that rope? And do you know how to tie a slip knot? I sure don't. But he does. And there you go. I do like this scene where the tall man's like out on the dunes and he's like, death is no escape from me. Great line. Love that. And just the shot of him out there is really, really cool. The hanging scene cut from the original. I'm guessing that this was an alternate ending to the original. Really cool stuff. All the sequences from the original that were inserted here, deleted scenes. Awesome shit. Great to see Angus Scrimm actually get some dialogue in here as Jebediah Morningside. I really wish we could have spent more time with him as that character. In fact, I remember there being a lot in my original viewing. I was like, oh, he goes back, it's boring, he's talking to this old man for a long time. He doesn't even say anything to him. My memory of this movie was pure shit. I thought he talked to him for a while. Jebediah has nothing to say in this movie. I was like, please, no, stay with him. I want to see him talk. I want to let him explain it. Like, he could have explained things to you. Why the fuck did you leave? I don't get that. Whatever. Reg's love interest in this movie, who dies really quick, Jennifer, she is 24 years old and he is 53. Now, consenting adults can do whatever the fuck they want. She can be 18, he could be a fucking 100. I've said this 100 times. Whatever. Doesn't matter. But really, they couldn't get a girl that was a little closer to Reggie's age. Just a little closer. Maybe late 30s, early 40s. I mean, at bare minimum, 24. Now, don't get me wrong. This girl's fucking gorgeous, and I am not complaining at all. But it's just a 53-year-old man in this movie, and they still are throwing 20-year-olds at him. And here's the thing, too. I feel like with Reggie, they keep throwing these, like, super young chicks at him, and he comes on to them, which, of course, kind of comes off to creepy as some people. But it's almost like you're setting him up for failure because Reggie just can't get laid. That's become like the joke to me in this fucking film, or this film series, is like, poor Reggie. Poor Reggie. They make him, they kind of make him a stud in a lot of ways. He's like badass. He's like the Ash of the franchise, but the guy can't get laid. He can't even get a chick to kiss him unless he's dreaming. So like, it's almost cruel to keep throwing these hot chicks at him and then never let him get laid. And then when he finally does, like every time that any one of them wants to come onto him in any capacity, they end up being possessed or something. And in this one, she has like sphere tits and they fly out. And I was like, that's got to be a dream. And then I'm like, oh no, she's actually dead. Like he kills her after. Which of course I was thinking, like, couldn't the tall man just convince him that's what he's seeing, and then he could have axed that chick in her sleep, which might have been what happened in reality. Like that would have been a great scene though, if Reg would have like woken up from it and he would have had that axe kind of like in her head, and she would have been looking at him like, Reg, what did you do? And then just died. He'd be like, oh my god, fuck with his head and everything. But no, they didn't have it. Poor Reg though, he can't get laid, man. Fucking guy's been on the road for years and years and years. And love that Reggie goes out and gets into his original ice cream outfit. It's always great to see these guys don the old attire, like Ash getting into his blue shirt and everything. It's great stuff. The shotgun over the shoulder scene where he has it over his shoulder and he's looking around, and then he hears the thing behind him, he looks around, and he just pulls the trigger and it blows the freaking thing away. Now he uses 4 shotgun shells for one of these damn little things back there and has to reload and shoots the other ones. He actually says motherfucker in this. Usually it's mothers. It's usually like, man, they're fast little mothers or they're ugly little mothers. But in this one, he's like, I'm getting pretty good at killing you motherfuckers. Liked hearing him actually follow through. And he's not the only one. Jody as well. Fucker. The F word was really not used much in this franchise. But in this one, there's some emphasis on it, and I love to hear it. One thing I don't think I've mentioned in any of these reviews is you can always see the camera crew in the spheres that are flying around every fucking single time. It's hilarious. And he's like, there's camera crew. I mean, I get it, but it's always funny that those things present such a problem for these guys. I find it very odd that when he goes into Jebediah's side with Jody, and Jody's trying to show him something of the moment when the tall man became real, he goes in and Jody tells him, like, you can't affect this. You were in a different dimension, because he tries to stab him in the back to prevent him from going through and starting this whole thing, the chain reaction of events, whatever. But just before that, in that very same room, in that very same dimension that he's not in, he picks up stuff off of tables and moves things around. So how's he moving and manipulating things in the room if he has no effect on that dimension, if he can't kill anything? Like, what? That makes no fucking sense at all, but whatever. So then the tall man comes through, and I guess the tall man can see through dimensions because he looks right at boy, and then he jumps back through. The tuning fork in this completely stops the tall man. Mike also acquires some kind of tall man powers while he has the sphere in his head, which, kind of makes sense because in the last one, tall man has a sphere in his head, so I guess he can have some telekinesis, some shit, I don't know. Telekinetic powers. Telekinesis is the fire one, right? Telekinetic, or is that the same thing? I don't fucking know. Mike then builds this elaborate engine with his own sphere in the middle, and the sphere just goes right into the back of the tall man's head, and then the tall man just like pulls the thing out, and he's like, this is a toy, and he like just kind of holds it in his hand. But then Mike has this really cool looking engine that he had all built out, and then it just explodes. Is that all it was? It was just a bomb? Like, was that supposed to, like, I don't know, man. I didn't understand that at all. So maybe someone can explain the car thing to me. And then just the tall man just comes back as a new one, like always. So Like, they know they can't kill the tall man like that, so blowing him up sure as shit ain't gonna do it. All the other ways have killed him, I don't know. So the bomb thing just makes no sense to me. Then the ball's stolen from Mike's head, and he's starting to die, and then Reggie goes through the archway to follow after him, which I'm assuming that's very open-ended. So for me, like, when just watching this, I'm like, this can't be the end. You know, if I was watching this back in the day, if this was perceived to be the end, I don't see how. But anyway, so yeah, he goes through after him, and I'm assuming that's where we pick up in Ravager. So I'm really looking forward to watching part 5 next week. And then I have a new series lined up for Monster Monday after that. So I look forward to that. I look forward to Phantasm 5, and we'll get to that next week. Adios.